Good morning. Welcome to Sales Chatter. This is a weird one. We got three people going on today. So, the gang is back. That's what we're so excited to have back. Jeff is back from vacation. Dan's back full time. This is Sales Chatter, the logistics podcast where we aim to help 10,000 reps hit a million GP. I'm your co host, Ryan Mohammed, aka the Logistics Monk. With me is Dan Deacon and as well, President and CEO of RGTX Logistics Solutions, the Bodacious Cowboy, Jeff Dickinson. How you doing this morning, guys?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be back. Glad to be back, finally. Well rested and ready to go. You know what? With that said, let's get going. Let's do this. Let's go.
Boom.
Welcome to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
And there it is, hitting up that
There
nice
it
little
is.
Yeah.
Even the chopper handles look well rested there, Jeff. They
Yeah, I had to shake them down there, my friend. They're getting a little out of hand.
I tell you, like the reverse easy top. It's crazy.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was that vacation look like? I know that you're big on vacation, taking some time to go away to Marco Island. Just fill everybody in where you've been and why you weren't on the show on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. So on the 8th, I took off and took a week at Marco Island. I needed that. I think everybody in the industry needs to break away every once in a while just to, clear their head, start thinking about the future, what they want to do with their goals and objectives, and start writing things down. Plus, get a little downtime. Everybody, like I said, needs that rest and relaxation to reset themselves, to get them in that position to succeed. And, I think that I did that over that time. But unfortunately, on the way back, I got sinusitis. So I was out of commission on Monday and Tuesday, slept like 18 hours on Monday, 14 hours on Tuesday, couldn't talk. My head was killing me. Yesterday, I felt a little better, and I said, you know what? I'm ready to go today. But, I'm glad to have my voice back. Glad to be on this show. Glad to see Dan again. It's all good, man. All good.
What is your boys? First question for you guys. What is kind of that breaking point on vacation for you guys, where it's like, okay, this is enough. Now it's time for me to get back to reality and kind of get back into the groove. Do you guys have a breaking point?
Yeah, easily. Especially when I have my dogs and stuff like that. I definitely miss them. I think day 6, because it's like you've already spent like that 5 days of. For me, when I go on vacation, just full transparency, I'm not a big adventure person. I'm big on, hey, I've worked so hard this whole year, so I want to be on a beach, all inclusive, like 5-star resorts. That's the way that I kind of live. So you get tired of like your 15th or 16th daiquiri, or like you're at the steakhouse every single night, having the nice cut. So for me, it's like day 5 or 6, where I'm ready to kind of come home to, as much as I probably finished my book by that point. So yeah, what about you guys?
Yeah,
I'm a not sit on the beach. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, same thing. I think it was probably day 5. I was down there for 8 days. Where I just said, okay, I spent that time with my wife. I did this, I did that. Spent a hell of a lot of time at the tiki bar, unfortunately, and just said, okay, let's get down to business. This is a great place to, just clear everything out. And like I said earlier, write down those goals and objectives of where you want to go, what you want to create, and kind of plan out the future, not the far distant future, but the near future, what needs to be done now, what needs to be focused on now. And like I said, will I hit all those goals and objectives? No, but I got a huge list. And if I hit just a few of them, then I think I'm on my way. I don't know about you, Dan. What about you?
So I'm probably in that day 6 or 7. I'm not a sit on the beach type of person. I'm a let's go do something. Let's go scuba diving. Let's go hiking up Chichen Itza, or you know what I mean, like these kind of things. Jump in the middle of a hole in the middle of a mountain and land in water kind of thing. And I don't know. I mean, I've spent a day on the beach before reading, and I tend to get bored. I'm a go type person, and even on vacation, as much as you probably don't sleep as much as you normally would, and you're up late watching the shows and you're doing this. I don't find I get tired. So it's not like I want to, and I don't drink, right? So before, when I used to drink, it was like, yeah, I want to sleep all day on the beach and just enjoy. But I'm probably in that day. I mean, we've gone for 14 days before, and it was kind of day 12 because we were doing so much that it was like, okay, time to go home. But I'm usually good on that, about like Ryan said, about that 6 days, where it's like, okay, I want to go home. I want to see the puppies. I want to sleep in my own bed. I'm horrible at sleeping in anywhere except my own bed. Like horrible. It takes me probably 3-4 nights just to sleep in on vacation.
Yeah, I see.
So
Yeah, that's
and like you said, Ryan, the daiquiris and stuff, like the amount of sugar that goes through my body on vacation, like not even the alcohol, but just daiquiri, because it's either daiquiri or water, right? Like for somebody that doesn't drink alcohol, it's not like you're having a rum and coke and switching it up with a beer and doing, it's literally water or sugar. And I don't know, for me, that's how I roll.
Yeah, it's good to kind of see. I think it's different for everybody in terms of vacation. Like I'm looking forward to going on our first vacation again for the year, and honestly just kind of relaxing. For me, I love like meeting new people, and like Jeff was kind of saying as well that it was big for him to kind of like his wife go do the beach stuff, and like he introduced himself in business. And that's the one thing I've learned. I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Like I never used to advertise that I'm a freight broker, freight agent, or what I do or anything like that. I always figured, kind of keep that to myself and not ask for tell people about it, and I figured within the last, like, since doing this show specifically, it's been important for me to let people know. Like I know there's John Rogers out there who wears a shirt that says that my freight broker is the best, and it actually puts his name and his like phone number, which is like pretty cool. Now people like knowing that, but I think it's very important to, especially if you love your career, why not? You just never know who's connected to who. Jeff, did you connect with anybody in this industry while you're in Marco Island, like randomly?
Yeah, it was funny at the tiki bar. Always happens at the tiki bar. I have no idea why, Hey, hi, Brian Henley. He lives in New Jersey. He's in logistics business. He actually heard John and I talking, and next thing you know, he's like, hey, I see you guys talking about logistics. I'm in logistics, and all hell broke loose. It's just, that's all you need. And, what seemed to be a 5-minute conversation goes to about 40, and you can't get off the subject. And next thing you know, you've got a lot of like-minded things that are going on, thoughts, all this kind of stuff. And now we're connected, and now we want to get together. It's just, that's second nature. If you're in the business for a long time, it's just like, talking to your mom or something, it just comes out. Fluidity, it's, you don't have to think about it. I guess it's like that elevator pitch, right? You don't mean to say it, but you say it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to kind of get like Dan. Like, did you always, like, you've been in the industry a long time? Did you always kind of advertise like to outsiders, any kind of like random strangers that, hey, this is what I kind of do?
Yep. Yeah, especially when I was younger. It was all the time. And I actually tried to sell 99% of the people I met, which wasn't always good. But I've met traffic managers on vacation, and then all of a sudden they're like my best friend. And I'm pretty sure by like day 2, they were like, okay, they're peeking out the door. Okay, I don't see them anywhere. Okay, let's go to the pool. And it was like, I was probably a little intrusive in my younger days, but yeah, it's always, like on the plane, I found most of the time is where I would meet the people. Because somebody happens to sit beside you on a business trip or on the trip down, and you just start talking, and it's crazy how I don't know, sometimes the relationships continue, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes it's just cool to have a conversation and hear a different point of view, and then it's kind of fizzles away. But we've had people that we've met that we were friends for a couple of years before we kind of fizzle away, right? So it all depends.
Yeah, it definitely happens. Like we have that too. Like when we make friends, like on the vacation, and we're like, yeah, when we get back to Toronto, we're gonna hang out and do all these things. And it just never happens. But it's just life in general, right? So this is the first time all 3 of us are back. I can't remember. I think maybe this is like November or so. That last time all of us. I know I'd love to kind of like share, like Dan, like what's kind of been your thoughts. Everybody kind of get back together. I know Jeff and I, we've been kind of holding down the fort, having a lot of fun. We see Gail here this morning. We enjoyed empowering women into logistics, that whole series that we did, which was definitely growing for all of us here. But yeah, like I want this to be easy and mellow today because, like we said, it's the three of us being here today, and then tomorrow we got to kick back and like have some fun, right? With Friday fun days. But yeah, would love to kind of I'd love to start with Dan, like what it's been like. Watching if you've watched Sales Chatter, or like I know you're going through your own journey, and we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, I haven't watched very much. Been around the odd time, kind of tuned in the odd show. I've been sleeping a lot prior to getting back on it, and kind of just for the first time in my life, taking that time for my body to heal and to fully let my body heal. You know, a wise man with a huge handlebar mustache once told me, you know, let yourself heal, and it is the first time I've ever allowed that to happen because I've been go. Challenging because your mind wants to do so much, but your body just says no. But you know, to be back, it's reinvigorating to be back, and you forget how much fun it is, and how enjoyable it is, and how much energy it actually gives you for the remainder of the day. It truly is, guys, and you guys did an absolute remarkable job when I was gone. So pat yourselves on the back for that, because I know you guys got kind of thrown into the lion's den, and you guys tamed those lions real good.
Yeah, you know something, it wasn't that we got thrown into it, Dan. You know, you're a friend, and as you know, it was Lisa and I that we were on every single day watching your show, and I just did it to help a friend. I didn't know what was going to happen. I did not know what was going to happen, and over that time, things just freaking exploded. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just happened, and it was your fault, Dan. So I blame you, but most importantly, I'm glad that you're on your feet. You're feeling better. You took my advice. You kept away. You thought about your family, yourself. First and foremost, over anything else is more important than what's in here, man. And I'm happy for you, dude.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, it's amazing to kind of see. And like even my reflection too was like really cool. It's not about being thrown in, then it's just kind of coming here. It was like riding a bike, right? Kind of figure it out on your own, and then you kind of like talk to different people. It's kind of cool right now, right? You look at the opportunities that have kind of happened. Like Jeff's going to be on DAT IQ Live next Tuesday, and you know Dan's getting back into it. I know you and I spent some time yesterday, had a lot of fun, and you know it was the first time in a long time we got to do that. So Sales Chatter itself, you know, it's always kind of been a platform for training, trying to level up, whether it be your beginner into logistics sales and kind of like that expert. That's why it's called high performance logistics sales. Let's talk about that a little bit, Dan. What does that look like since you kind of like started the show, I would say maybe a year and a half ago, the journey that has kind of been on, and what do you kind of see for the future of this kind of moving forward to being, I want to say, a mainstay with some people as they start their day?
So I've always seen this show as a show where people can come and listen to really good conversation, high performance conversation, all about the opportunity that's in front of us with logistics, as well as understanding some of the challenges we're going to face. Because if you understand the challenges you're going to hit, they become speed bumps instead of mountains. And I've always felt that. And when I first created the show, it had one purpose. And like you said it at the beginning of every show, to help 10,000 sales reps generate $1 million GP. You know, I believe every rep is one really good applied idea away from changing their business forever. And the amount of people we have on, the different strategies we talk about, the differences that we believe as salespeople, you know, that we've had those conversations where Ryan's like, yeah, I'm not quite sure I believe that. I believe this. And Jeff said, well, I believe this. And those conversations are very important because it's never just one way to achieve success and your own individual greatness, whatever that may, and hopefully your greatness is your own and it's not based on somebody else's performance. But I always found that there's that kind of one, oh my gosh, that's a game changer. And then that game changer raises your level of awareness. And that's all it is. Like high performance is just deemed as you're consistently growing and being fulfilled as you grow your business. Right? I'm sure we've all been there before. I know I have. You grow your business to the point where you hate the industry because you haven't grown it properly. You've just kind of grown it. You've grown it with the wrong customers. You've grown it with the wrong people beside you, maybe at the wrong company, and you start disliking the industry. That's not high performance. That's a really good
Just
recipe for
performance.
burnout.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a really weak performance, because you start getting really frustrated. You know, the future of the show is going to continue to be the same tools, the same strategies. There's different people coming on, giving us different approaches. Like when we had Jeb Blunt on, I mean, he gave some really cool approaches, and I truly believe if you listen to this show and you take away a nugget that works for you and you apply it, you will have every tool you need to generate well over $1 million GP a year. It's my firm belief. I believe it wholeheartedly.
I love that. And what about yourself, Jeff? What are your kind of thoughts on this as well?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dan that, it's all about sales and a process. And whether or not you're delivering on your own SOPs, of what you want to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, and is it the right direction for you? Like Dan said, it's very opinionated. It's a suggestion, it's an option, it's an alternative. Whether you want to do it or not, that's up to you. But like Dan said, he's giving them the tools, to think about. It's all thought provoking, right? It's like, it's not one shoe fits all, right? If somebody takes something from this show and applies it and becomes successful, that's awesome. That's what it's about, right? You'll have more failures than you will have successes, because that's the logistics industry. Once you get that mindset to understand that you need to fail to succeed, you're going to be better off. Don't think that this happens just like that. It's a process. It's a step. And as long as you're willing to take that journey, it's not a race. And I said that many times. It's a journey. And that journey has many different turns, obstacles, and barriers that you have to blow through. And if you're willing to do that, you'll have a long-term life cycle in logistics. Let's put it that way. But if you're not willing to do that and take those hits, you're going to fail miserably. You learn from your mistakes. And because, the old adage, history will repeat itself as long as you don't make those changes. If you make those changes, you'll be on the right path.
I like that. So you guys kind of like,
right?
yeah, no, I think like for me, it's exactly like that. So when I kind of got started on here, like we had those theme days, right? You got the Mondays, Tuesdays, Dad Wednesdays, and personal development Thursdays, and wins and losses on Fridays. And I think what's been important for me, what I've enjoyed about this ride, is like the community that is here and that we've built. When we were doing the different episodes that we did with the empowerment, and just seeing everybody kind of support each other. And I think that's what's important to me in terms of like the logistics sales itself. Like this is it's a sales podcast, so we do have to talk about sales, but then being able to have different conversations of, okay, well, I went through this in my life, as Jeff has kind of mentioned, like like I used to do horses, and like talk about different things that my life and his kids and things like that, and even for myself, Toastmasters, and Dan, with you sharing your stories like from the past, and then what you went through in the last year. So I think like with this being a sales focused podcast, we've built a great community of people. I could name them: Anthony, Kat, Lisa, Stacy, everybody who's just kind of like come together and really support us. And I think that's what kind of makes us unique in terms of an actual podcast, that we're engaging. We're not talking to you, we're talking with you. And as long as we have that keep going on, I'm excited for what the future kind of brings. And like we said, with guests and things like that, we've got Dean that comes on every Wednesday, and just different guests from around the industry who can add something. Like I've always said this, and this is my number one quote. I always say something that I tell customers: I don't know how to bake the best red velvet cake, but I'll find you the best baker in Toronto. I don't know how to nail or build a TV mount, but I'll find you the best contractor in Ottawa. So that's what we're trying to do here. I don't do drayage. Maybe we'll bring somebody here who does drayage and have the conversation. So like I said, I'm really excited for the community that we've built, and just kind of making content catered to our audience rather than us just making content for content.
Mm-hmm. 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 And if you bring that back to your sales career, right? opening question. They're good conversations. Oh, you're welcome, Anthony. You bring that back to your career, and every conversation you have is going to be a lead-in for you to either have another conversation or move on. And some people that we bring on are not going to resonate with you. They're just not. I mean, you can't bring on everybody that resonates with everybody. But I've always found, even if they don't resonate, you just listen, and they might say that one thing again. You're like, hey, listen, I'm going to try that. I'm going to go and make that happen. And it's all going to be, even if it's not industry focused. I mean, you think about it, we learned a lot from Brian Byro, who came on, who, sure, he was in the industry, but the guy talks about how to build an unstoppable team. We learned a lot from Rico Rakoski that came on that talked about just two choices. Now you have two choices. You pick up the phone or you don't pick up the phone, right? You send an email, you don't send an email. You book it with the carrier that you're like, oh, I think this is going to go bad, or you don't book it with the carrier, then it's going to go bad. All of it. So everybody that comes on, there's a different philosophy, different strategy, different mindset that they come on with, but you take the pieces that work for you, and you mull it over, and you kind of leave the rest, right? It's no one coach. Some of you might love Tony Robbins, some of you might love Gary Vee, some of you might hate them both. They've both said some things that have changed my life in dramatic ways, right? And you guys will all have your own David Goggins or whatever it is, Alex Hormozy. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has their own, but that's why there's so many out there, because the ones that really resonate with you are the ones that can just help you move to that next level. And that's all it is. If you've done 10 grand a month in GP and you're like, my gosh, 50 grand a month in GP, well, it's about getting to 20, then 30, then 40, then 50, and then once sees the woo. And then once you're at 50, it's like, well, that wasn't so bad, right? And then you try and keep going, right?
Well, it's like kind of going up that ladder, like, with Jeff, what he was kind of saying, like, it's able to have conversation with people and agree to disagree. That Jeff always kind of says, if you take one piece of information, it doesn't matter. We don't always have to agree on one thing. We'll get into the, Jeff doesn't like sushi. We got to figure out a way to get him to enjoy some California rolls. Hopefully, maybe that's something. You got some fresh fish out in Marco Island, but you're not going to be for everybody. But that's what we cater to as well. Just like you taking that one piece of nugget and like you kind of go there. Shout out to DJ and Stacy. They got their own show, like the Robin Hood Capitalists, and they're catering to a certain crowd. Like with the franchises and things like that. And then you guys are talking about like Brian Byro, like talks about John Wooden. I don't know much about Brian Byro, but I know about John Wooden. I know he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, so I can definitely resonate with that, right? So Jeff, like, I think we kind of say like we give bits and pieces. What have you kind of learned in your kind of journey being here? Because I know you can agree as well that podcaster, me, what? Why would I want to even do this? What does that look like for you? Because like you've been asked to be on different shows, Hold My Beer, Diet IQ, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mean for this to happen. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. You try to do a good deed, and you just do it to do it. But for some reason, and I can't explain it, I came out, by saying the stuff and being able to share my knowledge and try to help people, because that's who I am. I tried just to give them the bottom line, to let them make their own decisions. And like Dan said, is it going to resonate with some people or not? I didn't mean for this to happen, but it took off, and it started making me think. That helped me to be more creative in my content, because my content sucked when I first got on here. I mean, it was like, I was just like sales pitch, spray and pray. If this works, that's great. Just send it the hell out there. Everybody else is doing it. And I started thinking, that really sounds like shit, and it just opened me up. So this show helped me to open up, to start thinking about my journey over these decades and being able to share it, and just to help other people out there. And I love the platform and having that ability to do that. So am I better for that? Oh, hell yeah. Do I like podcasts? Oh, hell yeah. Like there's nothing like it to get your message out there. And then when you get that feedback from the people that you resonated with, there's nothing better than that. When you get those DMs, I need help. I like what you said. There's nothing better than that. We're all here to help each other out. And if we do that, if everybody out there just did a little piece of that, because they have a little bit more knowledge than other people and they share it, we're all going to be better off. It's $1.5 trillion, worth of transportation out there in the supply chain. There's more than enough out there. Share, people, share. And I'm glad I had the ability to do that.
Unfortunately, Jeff, not very many people do. That's 30 years in this industry, and I've gone to some of the top reps and companies I worked at and said, can you help me out? And they're looking at me with unfortunately, it was a very limited look, because I remember going to one major rep. I mean, this guy was crushing every record I've ever seen. I said, listen, can I get 10 minutes of your time? Like, not even. I will buy you lunch. I will sit down with you. I need to pick your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I would ask him a direct question, and he'd answer it like a politician. And I was like, but I'm asking this question. And it was a scarcity mindset. And unfortunately, our industry is riddled with scarcity mindsets. Now, I believe it is changing because I see the evolution.
Yeah, because I got to disagree. Sorry to interrupt you, but I got to disagree with that. Like now, in terms of like maybe that when you did that with that rep, that was like tens of years ago. But I feel like now it's just a collaboration. Like like Jeff and I, we get tagged on stuff. Like people are always willing to help out each other. Like the people that we kind of talk to. So I feel like now it's changed, and I think maybe it's that young blood. You're not seeing that like those old guys who've been like in the industry and like you said, that scarcity mindset that, oh my God, they're looking at my plate. Like I'm not gonna try to throw them a bone. It's like no, I got my plate. Hey, I'll throw you something. I'll help you make your own plate, like make your own pizza or something like that. So I think like now, I don't know. I've been only in the industry for 7 years, right? But I've never really seen that. But I guess maybe like when you kind of like work at this would have been one of the top brokerages, right, Dan? So it's like you got the big guns. This is where the big boys play, right? So,
well, yes. I mean, it's what, Ryan? I found it more. It was a very big brokerage. And what I think it was that there's like 400, 500 salespeople here. If I give up a lead to you, that's like money out of my pocket, right? And it's not, to me, that's not true, because that lead might not be good for you, right? It might not be good for me. It might be good for a guy 10 down the line that's brand new because the person wants to abuse him. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. But I found because I've only been at large brokerages, I found the scarcity minds, and DJ was at a pretty large one as well. Him and I have had that conversation as well, where everybody kept so much close to their chest, right? Like, hey, I need a carrier for Chicago and nobody wants to give up their carrier because God forbid they give you a truck. Now they don't have a truck. Do you know what I'm saying? The place you're at is a very friendly and open place to help. Right, you've surrounded yourself from pretty much since I've known you with really helpful people. I don't know if Jeff has seen it in his company, being more on his own. Maybe he hasn't seen it, but there was, and I believe there still is a scarcity mindset in the industry. If you ask certain people, now again, the people that watch this show are collaborators, right? Yeah. Again, surrounding ourselves with people we want to be like-minded and we want to be with, right? But yeah,
and I'll tell you what, and that's a true statement. And go back to many posts that I put out there about collaboration. I said in the dictionary back 38 years ago, if you look under collaboration, you see my name there. I've always believed in collaboration, and I found it funny and a bit sad that now you read about it more than ever nowadays. You even see it in the back of people's podcasts, and they have in the little blocks collaboration. I'm so glad that people are understanding how important and beneficial collaboration is across all stakeholders now, and how it's going to benefit you if you just learn to do it. And I'm so glad to see it, because it wasn't present 20 years ago. Everybody kept everything to their chest. They didn't want to share their proprietary info, even though they had NDAs and stuff. I get that. But it's that personal reflection. And like I said, history repeats itself. If you want to stop it from happening, you want to share that information to stop it in its tracks so people can succeed. You don't want to just let it sit there and manifest itself and go down the wrong path. So I see that more now than ever before, and I agree with the Ryan wholeheartedly that it is happening, but we're still not where we need to be, and we need to see more and more of that. To help for me to help the next generation, and for the younger folks to help that generation too, so that we all have that common goal and objective. And I'm glad to see that truly.
I like that. And you said that you'd like to see more of it. I feel like it is happening at things that are
It is.
happening this week, like TIA. We're just not there yet. You had the Mid America Truck Show. You got Accelerate coming up. So I'm looking forward to the days that we can go there, and have these and do these in person, right? Because it's always cool to be one to one, having conversations. Like I always let to people know my DMs are always open. I like whatever knowledge I have, I don't
Yeah.
gatekeep. You want to know what lead generation software I use? I'll tell you. You want to know what video software I use? I'll let you know what CRM. I don't gatekeep anything because there's no sense in that. And I feel like you put it out to the universe. And I've learned that from Daman quite a bit. Was that the good you put out to the universe, it'll reward you tenfold. And when I realize that everything I have, I look at the camera that I'm talking to you guys on, I look at the microphone, my iPhone, all that stuff. This is not my stuff, like this was God gave me this stuff, so this is his. He could take it back at any time, my health, my wealth, all that stuff. So I think with that collaboration, as Dan was kind of saying, like that scarcity mindset, it's sad and it's unfortunate because that's where, and I know we're coming up to an end, but you see that scarcity mindset, and that was a top guy that you went to, Dan. And unfortunately, those top sales guys, they become managers, but do they do any training with them to actually become leaders? Like some of the best leaders I've had were never the top guys. They're middle to like middle of the line sales guys, because they understood how to build relationships with their customer service and their ops, and how to build it with their other people as well within the organization, and with people that they had nothing to gain from. And I think that's an important trait that everybody should look at. Treat everybody with respect, even when you have nothing to gain with them. So I think the collaboration is cool. The show, I'm looking forward to seeing the topics and the people that we bring on. Rico, amazing person. I definitely got his book yesterday from Dan and things like that. Any final thoughts, both of you guys? I'd love to get final thoughts before we wrap up today's episode.
Go for it, Jeff.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm glad that Dan is back. There's just so many more things to be discussed that hasn't been discussed yet, and it's that journey that will continue to uncover those things, some of which people don't want to discuss at all, and those are the most important things that need to be thrown out there and analyzed, discussed, looked into, whatever. And those things are going to unfold. They're going to, because it's getting more complex out there, and we all should be looking at the what if scenarios, and hopefully we can help you to uncover those things and be prepared and be more proactive than reactive. So yeah, it's all good.
It's for all of you new reps out there listening, 24 months. Dedicate the next 24 months to being the best you can be, to continuously learning, to doing everything you need to do in order to build your business, and to bringing the right people onto the bus the right first time. And I can tell you, just as sure as it's going to get dark tonight, your life will be so different. So different. It's like I've said to many, many people before, you go live every day for a year and your life will be so different. And, you look at it, Jeff, you've been live every day for 6 months and so many things have changed. It's just, it is what it is. If you continue to do the same things, you're going to get the same results. If you continue to be nonchalant at how you sell, nonchalant at what you can provide customers, like if you don't know what you can provide a customer, how are they ever going to believe you? You know what I mean? Like just do the work, do the internal work, and keep listening to the show. Because you know what? This show will give you every single friggin' tool you need to make it. Every single tool.
All right, there we go. So I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning to Sales Chatter Live. We go live every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We'll hit the replays back at 2 and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We had tons of value in today, and tomorrow we will be having Fun Day Fridays where we put up our feet a little bit and have a little fun as we close off the week, so we kind of go from there. With that being said, Cowboy, take us home, my man.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, for having me back on. I've been absent like over a week and a half and missed the show greatly. I appreciate all of our supporters and the audience out there that always chimes in to Sales Chatter Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that said, we'll see you tomorrow. Bodacious Cowboy out.